David was a young man with big dreams. He had worked hard to build a successful career. He had a loving family and a beautiful home. Life was good. Then everything changed. David lost his job without warning. His company was downsizing and he was let go.
I quickly drained my savings trying to make ends meet. Soon I lost my home and my family. I had hit rock bottom.
David wandered aimlessly, his heart heavy with despair. He felt lost and alone. The life he had known was gone. He had no idea how to start over. One day, David found himself in a park. He sat on a bench, staring blankly at the ground. He felt utterly defeated. David looked at Robert skeptically, his eyes narrowing as he tried to gauge the sincerity in Robert's words. Hope? What hope could there be for him now? He had lost everything. He had nothing left. The weight of his losses bore down on him like a heavy shroud.
I once was a successful businessman myself, with everything I could ever want. I lost everything in a fire. It was a night that changed my life forever. My home, my business, my life savings, all gone in an instant. The flames consumed not just my possessions, but my sense of security. I was forced to live on the streets with nothing but the clothes on my back and the memories of what I had lost. I know what it's like to feel hopeless, to feel like there's no way out. But true wealth isn't measured in money or possessions. It's found in the resilience of the human spirit. It's measured in the strength of one's spirit, in the ability to rise after every fall.
David listened intently, his skepticism slowly giving way to curiosity. He had never thought of it that way before. The idea that strength could come from within was new to him.
Adversity has a way of revealing one's true character. It's in those moments of struggle that we find out who we really are. It's in the face of challenges that you discover your inner strength, the kind of strength you never knew you had. You have the power within yourself to overcome anything life throws your way. You just need to tap into it. You just need to believe in yourself, to trust that you have what it takes.
David wasn't sure if he believed Robert, but he wanted to. He wanted to believe that there was a way out of his despair. He desperately wanted to find a way out of the darkness, to see a glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. Robert could see the glimmer of hope flickering in David's eyes. It was faint, but it was there. He knew that David was ready to listen, ready to take the first step towards reclaiming his life.
Life is not about avoiding the falls, but about learning to get back up. Every experience, good or bad, is an opportunity to learn and grow.
Robert's words resonated with David. He realized that he had been so focused on his losses that he had forgotten about his own resilience.
Don't dwell on the past. Focus on the present moment and the possibilities that lie ahead. Find something you're passionate about and pursue it with unwavering determination.
David thought about his skills and interests. He had always been a creative person. In his youth, he had dreamed of becoming a writer. He had even won a few awards for his short stories, but he had abandoned his passion in pursuit of a more practical career.
There you go. You've already found your purpose. Now go after it with everything you've got.
David felt a surge of hope. Maybe Robert was right. Maybe he could turn his life around.
He thanked Robert for his words of wisdom and promised to take them to heart. He left the park that day with a renewed sense of purpose. He would become a writer.
David started small. He wrote every day, pouring his heart and soul into his work. He wrote about his experiences, his struggles, and his hopes for the future. He wrote with raw honesty and vulnerability.
His words resonated with readers. He started submitting his work to literary magazines and online publications. Rejections piled up at first, but David refused to give up. He kept writing, driven by a newfound determination.
Finally, one of his short stories was accepted for publication, then another and another. David's work began to gain recognition. He was invited to give readings and workshops. He connected with other writers and built a supportive community. His career was taking off. As David's success grew, he never forgot Robert's kindness. The memory of their conversations lingered in his mind, serving as a constant reminder of where he had come from. He often thought about the wise old man who had helped him find his way back from despair. Robert's words had been a beacon of hope during his darkest days. He wondered what had become of Robert and if he was okay. The thought of Robert's well-being often kept him up at night.
He returned to the park where they had met, but Robert was not there. The familiar bench was empty, and the park seemed quieter without him. He asked the other regulars if they knew where Robert was, but no one had seen him. It was as if Robert had vanished without a trace.
Years passed, and David became a successful author. His journey from despair to success was nothing short of miraculous. His books touched the lives of millions of readers worldwide. People found solace and inspiration in his words, just as he had once found in Robert's. He used his platform to inspire others to overcome their challenges and pursue their dreams. His speeches were filled with the wisdom he had gained from his own experiences. He never forgot the valuable lessons he had learned from a homeless man named Robert. Those lessons had become the foundation of his success.
One day, David was approached after a speaking engagement. A woman introduced herself as a social worker. She had a story to share that would change everything. She explained that she had been helping a homeless man named Robert get back on his feet. Her words brought a glimmer of hope to David's heart. Robert had told her about a young man he had met in the park many years ago. A young man who had been lost and in need of guidance. A young man who had lost everything and whom he had given advice. The story was unmistakably about David.
David's heart skipped a beat. He couldn't believe it. The man who had changed his life was still out there, and now he had a chance to repay the kindness.
She said that he talked about David all the time and how proud he was of him.
The social worker explained that Robert was now living in a small apartment and was receiving the care he needed.
David asked if he could visit Robert, and the social worker agreed to arrange a meeting.
Standing before him was Robert. He was older now and frail, but his eyes still twinkled with kindness and wisdom.
He had no idea what to expect. He knocked on the door, and a moment later it opened.
The next day, David nervously made his way to Robert's apartment.
"David," he said, a warm smile spreading across his face.
He embraced Robert tightly. In that moment, all the years of separation melted away.
David's eyes welled up with tears. "Robert," he replied, his voice thick with emotion.
They sat down and talked for hours, catching up on each other's lives.
David told Robert how much his advice had meant to him. He recounted the countless nights he had spent pondering over Robert's words, which had become a guiding light in his darkest hours. He said that he would never have achieved his dreams without Robert's guidance. David emphasized how those simple yet profound words had ignited a fire within him, pushing him to strive for greatness. He explained that he had been looking for him for years, wanting to thank him for his kindness. The search had been long and arduous, but David's determination never wavered.
Robert listened intently, his eyes filled with pride and joy. He could see the transformation in David from a lost soul to a successful individual.
"I knew you would make something of yourself," Robert said, his voice raspy but full of warmth. His words were a testament to the faith he had always had in David. "You had the spark, the determination." "It was evident from the very beginning," Robert continued, his eyes twinkling with pride. "I just helped you fan the flames. Sometimes all it takes is a little encouragement to turn potential into reality."
David spent the rest of the day with Robert, sharing stories and laughter. They reminisced about the past and celebrated the present, cherishing every moment. As he was leaving, he made Robert a promise that came from the depths of his heart. He promised to ensure that Robert would never have to worry about food or shelter again. David vowed to take care of him, just as Robert had once taken care of him. He would provide him with the best medical care and support. No expense would be spared in ensuring Robert's well-being. He would make sure that Robert's final years were filled with comfort and dignity. A life of peace and contentment awaited him.
And so David, The successful author who had once lost everything honored the homeless man who had helped him find his way. His journey from despair to success was a testament to the power of kindness. He repaid Robert's kindness with a gift far more valuable than money, the gift of gratitude and love. Their bond, forged in adversity, had become unbreakable.